Welcome everyone to Tradecast, being beamed to the world from Belia Trading offices in Lima, Peru. My name is Manolo Delgado. I'm Director of Marketing here in Belia Trading, and I welcome you today to Tradecast. If this is the first time that you join us, let me just remind you what is Tradecast. Tradecast is a series of interviews with top global executives in the area of international trade and international business. Among several subjects, we will discuss themes like manufacturing, sourcing, quality control, logistics, free trade zones, international trade law, WTO negotiations, entrepreneurship, sustainability, and many, many more. We have confirmed guests from all over the world. Let me just mention some countries: Japan, China, Singapore, Vietnam, India, Sri Lanka, Germany, Switzerland, Spain, Brazil, US, Bolivia, Mexico, Peru, etc. The structure of Tradecast, just so you see what you're about to witness as an interview, we first talk about the career, the life of our guests. We consider our guests to be role models, and we think it's very important for you to hear what their life has been like. Then we will talk about their company, and we will learn about their business, their geographies, and basically what do they do. And then we will enter the subject matter and discuss present problems and the future of that field of international trade or international business. And finally, we always close with a questionnaire by French journalist Bernard Pivot, and forgive my French, called Apostrophe à Bouillon de Culture. It's a personal questionnaire, is fun, and I really urge you to stay until the end because I think you will enjoy it. One quick disclaimer: the opinion that our guests are gonna comment on are their own opinions. Okay, they don't necessarily represent their companies. Okay, let me just give you two trade facts that we always try to do related to the interview of today. The average consumption of water per day per person in the world is 60 liters. And you might find interesting to know that the vegetables that need more water are beans, beets, and carrots. Having said that, let me introduce, without further ado, our guest today. Javier Meyer is Chief Marketing Officer at Aqua 4D, and he's right now in Switzerland. Where exactly are you, Javier? And welcome to Tradecast.
Hi, Manolo. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about a little bit of our lives and Aqua 4D company in Switzerland. We are located in the middle south of Switzerland, in the canton of Valais. It's a French size, a Swiss Romand. And very near, the closest biggest city is Sion. Okay, we are about 5 minutes from Sion, and not far anyway from larger cities like Montreux or Vevey, and it's still like an hour and a half by train to Geneva.
Okay, I'm going to assume very beautiful area.
Very beautiful, yeah. Lakes, mountains, and actually we're in the middle of a place with a lot of ski resorts. Most of the probably world's famous ski resorts centers are here, like Zermatt or Cromontana, Nanda. All these kind of big famous places are all around this area.
Okay, we'll get to how you ended up there soon, but let's go from the beginning, Javier. We always start, many of our viewers are university students, maybe master's degree students, and could be interested in entering this field. So we want to learn a bit more about how you ended up there. So please tell us where you were born, what did you study, and a little bit about your professional career that led you to entering Aqua 4D.
So I'm originally from Chile, South American Chile, and I study marketing, marketing strategy specialized, and I was working in Young and Rubicon for a few years, and then at the time it was very common, this work and holiday experience. I'm talking about more than 50 years ago. And but I used to travel all my life since I was a kid with my parents, then by myself, backpacking, and then looking for opportunities. I always was into this kind of international environment and traveling. So this kind of work and holidays at the beginning was a bit standard for me. I was already in most of these countries, and I know was what about? So trying to look something different. So due to different reasons, contacts, and opportunities, I end up in Asia, which it's today important part of my life, actually, important part of my development. In general, from language to cultural aspects, understanding of market. International was my open door to international market. So I start few activities. I start traveling to Asia very often, to China, to Japan, doing business with them. And after a while, what I thought was going to be just a partial moment or just an adventure, I fell in love with the place. So I ended up studies, doing a master's degree and doing PhD studies. And again, this was mainly the entry door for international environment in a different level, for business and context opportunities in general. And so after my studies, I started working back in Chile in the wine industry, but in an international level. First, working a lot with Asia, of course, was one of my strengths. But after a while, and I think it's part of natural development, especially at that time, at that age, trying to look for different things, and especially trying to be very aligned with my own values and commitment. I was trying to look for something more related to sustainability. Okay, more. I was really into it, and I'm talking about maybe 10 years ago already. I stopped eating red meat and all this kind of thing. I didn't have a car. I was trying to, or even not necessarily sustainability, but I was trying to look for a job with more impact. You know, it's something where I could add more value or have something with a higher impact in environment and people and society. So first, I moved to Europe. I start with the same company from Asia, start doing things in Europe. But after I discovered this beautiful company, which is Aqua 4D, which has several of the aspects that I consider important in my life, which is international relations and culture, different cultures, traveling, a product, and a business development with impact in agriculture. We'll talk about this later, but also in societies, in food security, in green areas. We'll go deep into those details. And I finished in Switzerland, which, by the way, I've been all my life related to Switzerland as well. Since I was a kid, I was coming to Switzerland. I have relatives here in Switzerland, in Bern, in the capital, so I was already familiar with it. So after being for many years related to Switzerland, being working in Switzerland in a Swiss company and with impact, it's something that I'm very happy and a sort of goal that has been committed in my life.
It's almost a full circle. Before we go into Switzerland and especially the company, I'm interested going a bit deeper in your Chinese experience. Well, we know China is and will keep becoming a major player in the world, economically and international relations. Sometimes not necessarily the best one. We will see how it develops, but you lived in China for many, many years. You speak Chinese. That's where we met. You lived in Xiamen. I know you studied and worked there. Could you tell us a little bit more about how you evaluate your several years? I don't know. I don't remember. It was maybe 8 or 9 years that you were there, and what type of jobs you did there before you left?
So yeah, I spent a lot of time in China. We met in Hong Kong. The beginning was mainly doing business and trying to find an opportunity. Then I started studying. Then I finished my studies, and then I was working with a Chilean company doing business in Asia in general, in Malaysia as well. And again, I would say that the most important part from that adventure and important part of my life today was this entry door to international environment, and especially China. I think it's very interesting because in China you have all people from everywhere. It's incredible, and also at the same time, even you have people from everywhere, at that time, I'm talking about many years ago, so I don't know what is today the current situation, but at the time, despite having people from all around the world, you didn't have this sort of closed communities. Okay, let's say the French people or the Germans or the Japanese, whatever. It was a kind of international environment where all people met together, where we have it was a studying with, I don't know, 20 different countries, and then having a party with, again, in one house party or in an event with 20 or 30 different nationalities. So this sort of soft skills and encountering people and learning and understanding different ways of seeing things in every aspect, in business, in cultures, in ways of understanding, in religion, in whatever it is, it was an important part in my life, and it's what I most take from this beautiful experience that I got there, and which is still very useful in my current life. Actually, today in Aqua 4D, I'm still doing business with Asia and other countries as well, but it became a very important aspect. Actually, I was doing recently a business with Central Asia, and again, all this kind of codes, you know, this kind of consumer from deep consumer behavior, from the theory till the soft skills of understanding some codes from people from different cultures has been something very, very important in my life, and something and an added value that I have compared to other colleagues or other people that didn't have this kind of experience. Again, the overall international experience with China and these countries are very good for it, very good school for that. And it becomes an important asset in my life that I keep using till today.
Sure. Being Aqua 4D, and we will talk about the company, being an international company, and you being in marketing, basically communications, and your responsibility is precisely to understand and make potentially tailor-make messages and a way of dealing with other cultures all over the world. So surely international experience is very valuable for you. Let's talk a bit about Aqua 4D. Can you tell us a bit about the history from the beginning? When did it start? What is exactly what does it do? What's the product, the business model? Please.
So Aqua 4D, it's a company founded in 2004. Okay, it started mainly in urban infrastructure in cities, especially for buildings. Okay, we were the most efficient and sustainable solution for preventing, for maintaining the piping system in buildings, especially prevention from corrosion, line scale, etc. All this kind of solution would demand a lot of acids, chemicals, and even water in the process to clean the system. Very strong, but mainly focus in Switzerland, a little bit in France, and a little bit in Germany and Austria as well. Till around 2011, more or less, when we discovered that this effect of dissolving minerals and organic matter has also an important impact in soil and therefore in agriculture. So it's a very important aspect of agriculture. And then the company exploded or went to a second phase on a large scale because of larger volumes of water and higher impact also, because we also have the capacity to save a lot of water in agriculture. So the challenges that we were able to solve or to bring solutions to, it was an important new larger scale, the same with the business. So the company grew, and I start in 2017, very early 2017 with the company. I first start as marketing and sales department and position like marketing and sales manager. So I was basically having a role in marketing, okay, in brand positioning, the communication, so on, and also overviewing some small markets like Netherlands, Spain, and some countries in Asia. Of course, I was coming from this Asian school, so it was an important asset that I could explore at that time. And then I continued evolving. Then I was head of marketing, And then I jumped to marketing director and chief marketing officer, which today I mainly focus on I overview the brand and the brand positioning in several markets, in all the markets, in a global scale. Aqua4D is present in 43 countries, by the way. And the business development of specific markets today, like especially all LATAM area, Spain, Netherlands, and still a little bit supporting Asia. So I moved from more tactical to a more strategic position, which I really like, I really enjoy, and this is what I'm doing today after this process till early 2017.
You said, Javier, 43 countries. That's where Aqua4D has operations in some degree.
Let's say that operations, like very active with a clear strategy, with a market penetration phase, with team development and so on, in around 8-9 markets. Okay, Aqua4D is present in 43 countries. We have projects in 43 countries, but we're very focused, or we have a strategic activity in around 8 and 9 countries. And Manolo, I'm very happy to tell you that this month we just kick off our LATAM office based in Santiago de Chile. For LATAM market, we have many projects in Latin America. Actually, Brazil, it's probably one of our biggest markets. We have projects in Colombia, in Mexico, of course, in Chile, in Peru, and Argentina. But now we open our own office with our own team. Today there are around 7 people, and we expect to grow to around 10 people by the end of the year, to be closer to our customers, to provide the best service and what's needed in this market. And this is the second regional office after the first office that we opened around 3 years ago in Visalia, California, for the North American market, which is today our main market, especially California. And we have some projects in Nebraska, in Canada, but mainly California.
Okay, I think it would be interesting because it seems I didn't know this. First of all, yes, congratulations. And I did see in LinkedIn that you opened the office in Chile. But from what I understood, you said that you were first in more like building, and in that area, that's the origin of Aqua4D, and then you saw that this technology could be applied to agriculture. But could you explain to us a bit more of the technical side? What is exactly what Aqua4D technology, and how unique is it? Is it something that you guys developed that no other company has? Is it a proprietary technology that you guys have, and that's what you are, basically the growth came from the agricultural side of the business?
Yeah, well, Aqua4D is a water treatment technology, okay? It's a company with a unique water treatment technology. And today, Manolo, we are the only technology that is able to deal or manage salinity problems, which is probably #1 issue today in agriculture, together with water scarcity, with water efficiency. Let me explain to you. In agriculture, you have mainly 2 situations with salinity: salt-saturated soils and irrigated with saline water. By the way, every year there are more saline wells and soil salinization due to droughts, due to intense agriculture, and many other reasons. This is one of the main challenges. And when you have salt-saturated soils, the standard recommendation is heavy irrigation, okay? Watering the soil for 10, 20, 24 hours, okay? So it's a lot of water and a lot of energy, by the way, you need to mobilize. And today, companies, they don't have the water to do that process. We have many customers that they don't have the water to wash away, okay? To flush the minerals away, this lixiviation thing. And the other practice for irrigation to irrigate with saline water is technologies that create between 25 and 40% of wastewater. So that means I treat 100 liters and between 20 and 40 liters throw away. I'm losing that. Plus, it's not just water, it's a brine, it's a concentrated of brackish water that also company needs to deal with it. It's a toxic concentration of water, let's say that in an easy way. And it uses a lot of resources, use 3,000 more times energy than Aqua4D. You need to change filters and things, etc. Aqua4D is today the only technology that is able to, first scenario, restore salt-saturated soils or allow irrigation with saline water not even using more water, but using even less water in the process. That's our main value proposition. What we will do is basically dissolve or improve the dissolution of any mineral and organic material that is present in the water, okay, with an impact in the surface tension of the water and more complicated thing that allows us to improve the water retention and water penetration and retention in the soil while dissolving or keeping in dissolution these minerals. So we're going to prevent the crystallization of minerals around the root, which damages the plant. But also this dissolution of minerals won't happen in the irrigation system, so we extend the life cycle of the irrigation system. We're going to use less water in the process, so less irrigation is less energy, less pumping. We have an impact in CO2 emissions. We prevent biofilm development in the dripping land because we're also dissolved organic material. We're going to improve the fertilizer efficiency because also we're going to dissolve the fertilizer going through the system. But again, we have many aspects, but our main value proposition is what I mentioned at the beginning, being able to deal with salinity using less water in the process, which also opens the door and is growing very fast, especially in the last 2 years, to open projects only for water efficiency. So the beginning was mainly dealing with salts, with this collateral aspect of where we even use less water, energy resources, which is great. And today we're also opening projects only for water savings, which also opens another door for green areas and parks, football stadiums. There are several football stadiums in Europe, popular ones, I cannot name, but popular ones, and also Latin America, using Aqua4D to keep the grass turf, which is a lot of water, with less water demand, which is already great.
So in essence, would it be fair to say that water usage becomes a lot more efficient using Aqua4D? Less waste, and even in agriculture, because of the quality of the water, higher yields in production too?
Exactly, absolutely. Actually, our tagline is Swiss efficiency. We also get the Swiss brand. It's about efficiency and precision on the cloud watch. And we're turning water, you say, more efficient. So actually our tagline is Aqua4D Swiss efficiency. And exactly what you say, we're improving the growing environment of the plant. We're improving the efficiency of fertilizer. We're improving the nutrient absorption of the plant. We're using less water in the process, etc. So it's exactly what you said, better yields, better quality, using less resources, especially water, but also fertilizers, energy, and so on.
Well, fantastic. I'm sure you're going to be flooded with demands of information. Well, these are two of the main problems in the world right now, right? Food scarcity, the need to feed the growing population, the developing world, especially in Asia, that are rightfully so demanding more protein and more vegetables and more food in bigger term, and the problem of water we are seeing with climate change, massive droughts. Europe, I think Spain is going right now through the worst drought in 100 years. So your company definitely has a potentially, and already doing it, hopefully you will grow more, for a lot of sustainability impact and improving that area of the world. I'm just curious about if you can explain to us how a project works. In essence, if you can give us an example. I know you're going now into other areas of improving the usage of water, but I guess now most of your business relates to agriculture. So is this like, I don't know, I'm curious on how long does it take to set up a project? What is your type of client? Does it have to be massive agricultural corporations that have acres and acres and acres of land, or you also work with smaller farmers, which are prevalent in many parts of the world? Try to explain us, please, how would a typical, if there's such a thing, project would work in terms of time and development of the project itself.
I will say that the most important aspect from this is that we're not selling Aqua4D as a fridge or as a laptop. Yes, thank you very much for buying and delivering everywhere. We are opening projects with farmers, with companies, with agriculture, with growers, etc. So we open a project, and this is very close to going to the doctor in terms that, okay, you have an issue, it's salinity, it's water scarcity, or both, which is where we bring the biggest added value. And according to that, we study water analysis, we ask for soil analysis, we check the crop, the harvest period, and so on, etc. And according to this information, we build a framework. And with the framework comes a protocol where we install the system, and according to that, we work together, our engineers, both Swiss engineers and local agronomists, we work together under this protocol to reach the expected results of the grower. And about the timing, it will depend, because it's different when we deal with coffee production in Brazil than we were dealing with the blueberries in Spain, for example. Different soil, different water, different crop, different harvest season. Some of them, some harvests are twice a year, some others are every 2 years. So there's no timing, but the most important is that we really work with them. And why this protocol is so important? Because we're going to change an interaction in water soil plant. We're going to improve the water retention in the soil. We're going to have a lixiviation effect of minerals. If we don't measure and we don't adjust, there's no point. It's going to be too much water in the soil. We're not only not going to save water, but also maybe we could damage the plant because there could be sensitive to water or less lack of oxygen or too much moisture, so on. So it's very important to install Aqua 4D, start measuring these changes, and according to that, adjust. And that's basically operation for agriculture project. And as you were saying, sorry?
No, please go ahead.
No, just to finish, because in your last question, yeah, we are doing also, we're doing important steps with the mining industry. As mentioned, parks and green areas, landscape, what's called landscape, which could be gardens, parks, universities, schools, football stadium, rugby clubs, also golf courses. Well, we have with Aqua 4D.
The potential is huge, right? Anybody that uses water would be happier if they use it more efficiently. This is a no-brainer, huh?
Exactly, and but the no-brainer, it is a no-brainer, but of course we have challenges. We're bringing a new paradigm into agriculture, especially. Agriculture used to solve a problem with a lot of water, with chemicals and so on, and we bring a quantum physics, physical structure, water treatment, which is a new paradigm. So we reinvest a lot in working with them, in monitoring, in explaining how it works, in working with them in the field. So that's a big challenge, and also it's not, and it's something that we need to work hard to this swift of technology or practices, especially in agriculture, which is a very conservative market. And in agriculture, you face answers like, no, you know what, my grandpa was using this amount of water, my dad was using a lot of water, so I will continue using a lot of water. And we're telling them, no, can you use half of this water? No, we're going to change so on. So this is an important challenge. So it's a no-brainer in terms of benefits, but we have a big challenge ahead, but we're doing very, very good steps.
That's super important, that the change of mindset, especially as you said, in farming, must be for you, especially in marketing, one of the toughest challenges. How you deal with this? Because that sounds to me like a very time-consuming advocacy, in a way, teaching. I don't know, do you engage NGOs, governments? How do you find allies in this? Because you are a global company having projects in 43 countries, but it sounds to me, as you said, when the car was invented, to get rid of the horses I'm sure it took a lot of time and a lot of electricity. Jesus, I'm going to lose my soul. What is this light? You guys are groundbreaking and breaking a lot of paradigms and very set mindset in a very traditional field. So you are a company in a beautiful part of Switzerland. How do you deploy such a massive communication strategy to get people to change and use this technology?
Very good question, and you already answered it partially. One side, we collaborate a lot with NGOs, with the academy. We have more than 35 scientific studies with UCD, with INRAE in France, with INGREF in Tunisia, with Castilla-La Mancha in Spain, with Uberaba University in Brazil, with INACAP in Chile, and so on. That's very important support to validate, to promote, to be in contact, and we collaborate a lot with Swiss embassies. It's been an important support. We engage a lot with municipalities and governments. So a lot of support from all these kind of organizations and authorities, okay, to show them the added value, to prove the efficiency of the technology, and to help us deploy all what we need to do to bring these benefits into agriculture and different industries. And on the other side, we're talking about marketing strategy. We're 100% inbound marketing. We are not these guys, and it's funny because I receive every day, hey, would you like to put a banner? Would you like to put your logo? Yeah, I put my logo there. It's nothing. We're not we're this company, but we're not Nestlé. So we need to explain what we do. We need to, especially when we were talking a few minutes ago, this is a new technology, new paradigm, new way of practice, something very innovative and so on. So most of our marketing is about developing content based on testimonials, based on experience, based on scientific studies, turn this into something easy to read and more attractive, and then adapt it to the markets, which I mentioned we're very active in around 8 or 9 markets, which are our specific target. We adapted from language till also ways of, for example, in US, it's about AG tech. I don't know, AG tech, very important. But you don't say AG tech there in whatever, in Peru or Chile, even you translate literally in Spanish. So we need to understand these different codes or proper words and be able to address the message the right way.
Okay, and this is kind of in a way, a sad question, but the fact that we are in trouble now in terms of water and what we discussed, droughts, etc., this new context of the problem of water, to put it in a very wide way, does that help you in a way? Is it because of the current situation of the world, the status, the challenges we're facing? Does that mean that more people knock on your door to try to use your solution?
In that sense, it has been helping, but very recently. Before, it has been helping through regulations, fines, extra tax, like government putting pressure on being responsible, don't throw water, be efficient with water, and so on. But in the last year, or last 2 years, but especially last year, we saw important change or improvement in companies that are reaching us. Even companies, they have water due to different reasons, the location, whatever. They are interested in installing Aqua just to be efficient, because even if you have water, why throwing water? Why wasting energy and so on? Why not turning the whole process at the end into something more efficient, from fertilizers till the plant, I mean, from the pumping station with fertilizer and everything, till the whole chain of production. So yes, it's helping us. Unfortunately, it's a water situation now, as you were mentioning, Spain and in France. Here in Europe, it's critical, but in Peru, in Chile, in California, in Central Asia, it's critical as well. So yes, of course, it's helping us in the way that more people is interested in doing something, and of course, regulations are coming more tough. So this sort of trend is helping us with our business development.
I'm curious because the regulatory system around any business, of course, is crucial. And I'm curious if you guys actively engage parliamentarians or NGOs that lobby governments. Is that part of your efforts in marketing, or not really?
PR is important, mainly through Swiss embassies. I have to say that the Swiss Business Hub and the Swiss embassies has been a very important support from us. And through them, we've been able to contact local authorities, municipalities, and engage with different organizations, as well as other organizations like WWF or this kind of companies, just to mention, to give random examples, that are interested, because they know that we bring an important benefit into general environment, especially our landscape aspect, because I'm just brackets in between, very interesting. The landscape, when we're talking about green park, green areas in general, in the city, football stadium, whatever, is very important because, for example, in Chile and also in California, and I guess in many other places, they are removing green areas from the city, okay, and putting stones or other alternatives because turf, grass, use a lot of water. That's true. But at the same time, green areas, they help cooling down the city's temperature. So it's, at the same time, it's a spare time. It's not the same playing football in stones or soil rather than in grass. Kids like to play just view, like just having. There are several studies that say that green areas in city improve life quality. So if we support maintaining these green areas rather than removing them, but using 20, 30, 40% less water demand to keep these green areas, that has a direct social outcome. And especially with this aspect, is with this kind of organization I mentioned that are very interested in what we're doing, and it's been growing fast. But still, in agriculture, it's very important. There are a lot of resources uses. 70% of fresh water goes into agriculture, and it's about food security and so on. So the challenge is big, and the benefits we're bringing are important. So yes, we're being more and more in contact with NGOs, with authorities and governments and embassies, and like the water partnership and these kind of things.
Well, you've mentioned this several times, but I want to ask it specifically about where is the most potential in coming years. You are very set in the agriculture. I'm wondering what's the growth potential that you're seeing. If your business now is, I don't know, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but 90% agriculture and 10% these new areas of water management in landscaping, in stadiums, in universities, basically everywhere where water is used. I'm assuming, and please comment on how that area you see growing and how fast is it really growing. I don't know, how do you see in 5 years that could be half of your total business?
Yeah, actually, we're expecting growth in two figures. Expecting even to double our activity and revenue year by year. Today, agriculture, it's around 60% of our activity, okay? It's competes with maybe 30, 35% with the buildings or water infrastructure, urban infrastructure. And we have 3-5% in livestock. Okay, we have also we reduce the chemicals and medicine used in livestock because of agrobacterial development in the drinking line. That's a long story, and it's a very tiny division. And this is spin-off from agriculture, because also we have different product lines. We're using the same technology and very similar approach. And this spin-off now becomes a full area, when I will say that today agriculture is 60% or 50%, 20% green areas, and 25%, something like that, of buildings or urban infrastructure. And at least here we have different opinions, but I really believe, and I really like this new landscape area because of this direct social outcome we were talking about, and it's really growing really fast. So in the next 2-3 years, I will expect that the green areas, park landscape, or landscape business unit, as we call it, it will be not as big as agriculture in terms of cash in, because agriculture uses massive volumes of water, so the system we sell is bigger, more expensive, therefore. And agriculture is usually smaller, but it's growing fast. And now in Chile, we're going to start equipping full cities, a whole city with a system of green areas, a full city. So I'm expecting an important growth in landscape, and nothing yet, but we're doing promising steps in mining, which will also touch Peru, by the way. And actually, we will open very soon, but we'll talk later, also office in Peru, because it's a very important market for us, which will be linked to our regional office in Chile, but we want local operation in Peru, especially for the agriculture. Huge agriculture growing in Peru with the same needs, salinity and water management, but also the mining industry in Peru, which is not less important.
Agriculture and mining, of course, in where I am in Peru and Latin America, super important. I'm just, before we close, Javier, I'm curious about seeing all the benefits of the technology in so many realms. Is fantastic. I'm very happy to find. I knew what you were doing, but I'm really glad I'm sure our audience is really happy learning about this. It gives me a little hope about the world. If you have a massive demand, and I'm going to assume that hundreds of thousands of companies are going to see Tradecast and they're going to look for you in LinkedIn and start calling you, what is the constraint from your side to fulfill projects? Because we talked about challenges of mindset and maybe regulation, but I'm assuming, of course, this is you manufacture a technology. There is a magical box that has to be installed somewhere. You have the capacity to really ramp up and start producing, I don't know, triple the amount. Where is this produced in Switzerland? Can you just tell us quickly about the manufacturing itself?
Very good question. Actually, we've been growing in collaborations and important relations with banks. And banks is exactly what ask us. When I bring you all a huge inflow of projects, how are you going to deal with it? Because you're not a 2,000 people massive company. How are you going to deal with it? So we have a very smart plan where we work and we move on by regions, specific crops, and specific projects also. We're not getting everything because we know that quality and service and so on is a very important part. We don't want to lose that. But at the same time, we have an organic growth. That's why we started with our first regional office in California. Now we just opened an office for Latin America. Another in Peru is coming very soon. To have local team because we know demand is growing and we know it's important to be in place. Regarding the manufacturing, it's not a really issue for us. I cannot show you right now. I can send you some photo later for you to see or to put here in there, but we just opened a new massive warehouse, massive, really big one, with important production capacity. So in terms of manufacturing, we don't see the biggest challenge. Our biggest challenge will be being able to attend a large amount of project. But again, we are permanently working and defining a sort of framework or structure, how to be able to address and not lose efficiency or quality in the process.
Fantastic. Well, Javier, first of all, let me congratulate you, and I'm very happy to see. I know from our long conversations back in the Asian days that it's super important for you to, and for the new generations, this is such a key thing of where they work, right? That it aligns with your values, cultural, social. So fantastic. I'm very happy for you, and I'm very glad that I got a chance to learn more about Aqua 4D. So let's close with the funny part. And go through the questionnaire of Bernard Pivot. So let me start by asking, Javier, what is your favorite word?
I don't have a favorite word, but here at the office, my colleagues joke about me with the word "by the way." They say that I use a lot "by the way," or even emails. I write something and then BTW, da 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 da. So I will say that "by the way" will be my favorite word because actually I don't know if I really like it, but I use it a lot. So yeah.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
The same. I don't know how to think about a least favorite word, but now that I'm living in Switzerland and I'm speaking French, I hate the word regarder, like looking, seeing, because the R and G, the very here. It's so it's not that I hate it of its meaning. But I hate every time I have to say it, I try to use another word like view, whatever, that is not exactly the same, but because I really hate it.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Definitely music. It's my only passion. It's the only thing. I'm not into cars. I'm not into any kind of the things. I will never have a luxury car. But music, from instruments till listening music. I have a large music collection from vinyls, CDs, and music instruments. So definitely music is my inspiration or what I most enjoy, I would say.
Well, for our audience, let me just say that when Javier had more hair, he was a drummer on a punkish, rocky band in China. which I had the pleasure of seeing, the White Rabbit. So anyway,
Yeah, it was a fun
look for
time,
them
yeah.
on YouTube. What turns you off?
Sorry?
What turns you off?
What turns me off? Aggressiveness, I will say. I hate aggressive. I could be very serious at some point, and I like serious discussion, whatever. But when things turns aggressive, you know, like it's kind of aggressive in general, it's something that really like I'm not into it. Yeah, that's turning me off, definitely.
Given that you speak Spanish, English, Chinese, French, maybe something else that I don't know, you can answer this question in any language you fancy. What is your favorite curse word?
Super funny because you just mentioned like that, but I thought about it before. It's exactly like that. Again, I don't have this kind of word that I hate, but it's putain. Because
Okay.
that's my favorite. It's like I know that I'm speaking French, and it's my cursing word today. So even I don't have one favorite word. It's what I'm saying today. Putain.
What sound or noise do you love?
I would say music, but that would be too cliche. Water sound is nice here in Switzerland. I'm surrounded with lakes and rivers, and this water sound, it's something that I really like. Even the ocean, like water in general, I've been always very connected with water, despite my current work. It's just a coincidence, or maybe not.
And what sound or noise do you hate?
Drill sound, drilling. I just moved to a new house actually, and every time we need to drill something to install a lamp or something, it's off. I need to put really exaggerated, like use the thing, because it's something that really need to run away. Vacuum noise during the morning also, but that's probably from the memory when I was a kid at home going to school. I don't know, but drilling, it's a noise that I really don't like to be next to.
This is an interesting one. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? And don't say musician, because you are already a musician, okay? So something different.
Well, professionally, musician will be great. Despite now being more old, I discovered all what it means to be a musician through documentary, moving, reading, and so on. And it's probably not as nice as what you expect when you were a kid in many other aspects, beside music. But you know what I've been lately? I mean, lately, the last 2 years, I kind of not regret, because I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with my contribution. But I've been kind of regretting to be into the business world and not being, for example, an engineer. And, you know, I'm working to something, building something, constructing something. Actually, it will be funny when my wife sees this video, she will love. But I've been in the last 2 months, I'm really obsessed with NASA. I watch all the Apollo missions, documentaries, and from Gemini and Mercury missions, and the space shuttle. I'm really into it. So today, I would have really loved to be not necessarily an astronaut, but maybe a NASA engineer and working with the things I love. But anyway, in Aqua 4D, our commercial development is a technical commercial development. We come from the science part. It's a lot about engineering and so on. So I'm still involved. I'm learning a lot about minerals and water and soil interaction and chemistry and biology. So I still fulfill my needs. But in general, yeah, I would like to be, if not a rock star, an engineer or something like that. Not just doing business.
Yeah, okay, both sides of the spectrum. A rock star with a PhD in astrophysics. Okay.
Something like that.
What profession would you definitely never like to do?
Oh, I could be biased, so respect to these people, because maybe I don't know, but my feeling is, like an accountant working in a notary's office. I have this image of the notary with a beige color suit. No, that at least the profile is definitely not me. So at a quick glance, I wouldn't like to work in a notary's office, being a notary or an accountant, something like that.
Sure. And last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
If heaven exists, no, I wouldn't like to ask anything because I will probably be tired of too much information and listening to things. But I will ask him to show me one collage of my life, something like that. You know, like one big photo of a collage, or what has been myself, or what am I as a summary during my life, something like that. So rather than asking something, I will ask him to show me something. This
Cool.
life collage.
Cool, good answer. Well, Javier, first of all, thank you again for your time. Really appreciate. I'm sure our audience has benefited a lot from your life experience, the international scenario, and this incredible journey you've taken to end up working for something that fulfills you in so many ways and that actually is helpful for mankind, and of course in the same way for the planet. So thank you so much. Hope to see you soon. I'd like to finish by thanking Belia Trading for organizing Tradecasts, and from Latin America, I wish you a successful day. Goodbye.